Peace up to the family wherever you guys might be in the world. Top of the day, good afternoon and good evening. Today's live, we are talking about the connections between Ethiopia, ancient Ethiopia, and ancient Egypt. I pray that the family is doing well wherever you guys are tuning in from. I pray that today was a good one for you, is a good one for you, and that you have plenty more beautiful experiences. For those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, my name is Brother Samal here at the platform where we showcase our journey throughout the beautiful country of Kenya, um, and also things that are pertaining to the African slash Black experience. That's what we share. As you guys can see, I'm fighting off a mosquito. Hate mosquitoes. So that's what we're gonna do today. And we're gonna start off saying that many people assume that Egypt is the most oldest. Many people think that Egypt, because of their many dynasties that they came prior. But as you get into the writings, as you go down the pages of history, you find that Ethiopia is way older than Egypt. You would find that upon further research, you would see that Egypt had one of the first um, established civilizations. You understand? In the area of commerce and trade and peace up, Don P. Don P, if you want to come on board, the link is in the chat. And let me know if you can hear me clearly. I have my mic. Let me check. My mic is synced up. Okay, cool. That's excellent. Let me know if you can hear me clearly, Don P. And again, Don P, the link is in the chat if you want to come on up. So again, family, Egypt or ancient Kemet or Kemet was one of the first, okay, excellent, one of the first established civilizations. Ethiopia, on the other hand, wasn't as, okay, cool, got you. Wasn't as established as, one thing about Africa, family, you got all manner of bugs. Chano. Wasn't as established as Egypt. Egypt took civilization to a whole another height, a whole nother level. But Ethiopia had some deeply rooted spiritual energy, vibes. You know what I mean? When it comes to the area of art. And excuse me, family, I'm outside and somebody's pulling up, so the doorman, the groundsman is going to let them in. So in the area of trade, the area of art, mathematics, Ethiopia language, you understand? Ancient Ge'ez. And I'm not, by a long shot, I'm not a master or a professor or a scholar when it comes to these topics, but I am a student of history, so I can hang in there and have dialogue and exchange with the best. One second. Jano. Another thing with being in Kenya, a lot of folks burn trash outside. They also cook outside, so you constantly have smoke billowing in the environment, which is, I love it. So it's a blessing and a curse for me because I have big allergies, but I wouldn't change nothing. So we understand that one of the wonders of the world is what Egypt was able to establish, being the pyramids and being the many dynasties that they had, and just the influence and impact that they had on civilization. You have great men, Asante Sana Dampi, Asante Sana. You have great men like Amhotep that had the ability to break down the human anatomy without severing skin. You understand? He was a philosopher on many levels when it comes to mathematics and when it comes to healing practices. The most oldest practices are found in ancient Egypt. But we would be remiss to leave out Ethiopia because Ethiopia, if you go and Google and chat GBT and even crack some books, you will find that the great Nile River, you understand, fueled, without the Nile River, Egypt didn't have a shot of creating such a beautiful civilization that it did for many dynasties. But it was Ethiopia that controlled the Nile. You understand? Even to this day, 2025, you guys see me wrestling with this mosquito. Even to this day, 2025, there are exchanges around water. Ethiopia and Egypt to this very day. At Saqqara in present day Sudan. Don P. Would you like to come on board, Don P? Just wanted to know, because if you are, I just got back on StreamYard, so I'm trying to familiarize myself with. I know that when somebody's coming on, you would show up. So I just didn't want to miss you if you was trying to come on. Amhotep means the one who comes in peace. Absolutely. So, with that being said, family, like a lot of folks get caught up on, man, you all are saying you're from Africa and you're a Kemet, and it's not about that. Kemet represents one of the most beautiful established civilizations in the world. Yes, sir, Patrick, in the world. And it's African. See, before the Muzungu, before the European came to colonize and do their thing, there was no borders. So we dealt with tribes of people. and everybody expressed themselves and how they expressed themselves. So you had tribes. You know, you didn't have your traditional borders. You understand? So yeah, yes, brother. You good? So, you didn't have your traditional border, so people shared. I'll definitely try and come on later. Okay, no problem, Dr. There's no pressure. There's no pressure whatsoever. You guys hear rumbling in the background. I'm here in the village, so people are moving around a little bit. So, family, if anybody wants to come up and share in the conversation, you guys are welcome. The link is in the chat up top. So once you enter into the chat and scroll up top, you will see the link. Press on the link and it will bring you to the studio and I'll be able to see you and bring you on. So the question isn't, because I was born in Americas and I want to reconnect with Africa, I'm gonna just call myself an Egyptian. Or when people do that, people are literally trying to connect with the highest expression of our African contribution. Don P, look at the top. Look at the top of the chat. Studio. Let me see something real quick. I just put it. I just put it in the chat again. Yes, but how was your trip? It was a good day, man. Yeah. Happy holidays. Likewise, brother. Yeah. So, on the flip side of Egypt, dealing with Ethiopia, you have like the Rastafarian community. They hold Ethiopia high on their list. They feel like pin it to the top. You pinned it. Let me see something. Hold on for a minute, Don P. Show comments on stage. Okay, I didn't have the comments showing. I'm gonna put the link in there one more time, Don P. It should show up. New comments. Great, we'll try and got you. And no worries, Don P. If you in a situation where you kind of tied up a bit, it's not a biggie, man. You're here now. You're here now, so we good, brother. So, like I was saying, family, like the Rastafarian community, regard and revere Selassie as the 225th king of the Solomonic dynasty that stems all the way back to ancient Ethiopia. And yeah, and then you have the most ancient and oldest Christian church, which is the Orthodox Church, in places like Aksum and Lalibela is high on the list for our people. And Haile Selassie at the time loved the Rastafarian community in such a way that he etched out large parcels of land in Ethiopia called Shashimani just for the Rastafarian community. You guys should go online and check them out. And they're a thriving community in Ethiopia. Most of the family that repatriated there from Jamaica, they don't even consider themselves to be Jamaica. They say they are straight Ethiopians, which is a vibe, you know. And also, when I was in Israel, there's a place in Jerusalem called Prison's Gate. And the Ethiopian community, very large and expansive community in Israel, family. And they call themselves Beta Israel, or the House of Israel. So again, you know, if you're that close in proximity to each other, where you sharing the Nile River, which is a major vein of water in Africa, the Nile River. Remember, from a Bible standpoint, a biblical standpoint, that there was 4 rivers that went out to water the so-called Garden of Eden. And if you look up any map, you would see this. Google it for yourself. And it said that these 4 rivers that went out to water the Garden of Eden was the White and the Blue Nile. The White and the Blue Nile. The whole encompassing most of East Africa. Then you had the Tigris River, which in ancient time was the Hiddekel, and also the Euphrates. Those were the 4 rivers that went out to water the so-called Garden of Eden. You understand? And also, from a Bible standpoint, that in ancient Ethiopia, the name was Cush or Abyssinia. And like we said the other day, Cush means sunburnt. The sunburnt soil slash faces, because we are, in fact, a byproduct of the soil, right? In the Hebrew, the word for soil is Adon. Adon. You understand? Or which comes also from Adam. Adamah. You understand? So you can see the connections there. You know, so you have ancient, man, just rained crazy heavy for the last hour and a half, just pouring down, pouring. And it's looking to just dry up like that. But what comes with the rain here, which I'm pretty sure is like that, the Nile River, a bunch of life in the form of bugs, insects, animals. Yeah, the Nile was considered the center of life, or the center of the world. Just like London with the GMT artificiality. Correct. And that's why we have to give respect and honor to Ethiopia. Because though they wasn't as established as a civilization at the time, like Egypt, what they rolled out, but they was just as powerful, you know, as far as their influence. And even today, September, it marked the new year. Absolutely. And also, Don P, what I learned, um, if I'm not mistaken, in Egypt also, they honor the new year also in September, which they got from Ethiopia. So again, September is a very powerful each month. Very powerful. Number 9 is, like we said before, um, it's a very powerful numerical symbol. So again, Ethiopia controlled, managed, and ran the Nile River, which gave life to Africa. Cannot forget that. And you see what Ethiopia, when you look at Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, on the Gregorian calendar, yeah, I'm with you, Don P. I'm with you. But such beautiful cultures as the Rastafarian community, the energy that emanate out of Ethiopia with Haile Selassie and how Selassie was managing Ethiopia, it is said that no power was ever able to conquer or colonize Ethiopia. Understand? When Italy came against Ethiopia, Ethiopia fought back and was able to maintain its sovereignty. But we must remember that the calendar we use now is not the same calendar that the ancients used. Absolutely, I'm with you, Don P, 100%. We have such a calendar as the Gregorian calendar that start the new year in the dead of winter. You understand? And real indigenous Eastern cultures, they started in the springtime or in around April and like we say in September, where things start to come anew. Life starts to come back, you know. So yeah, the Gregorian calendar is an extreme backwards system. So for the family just coming in, we are simply sharing information about the connections between Ethiopia and Egypt and how we learned that ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt really came out of Ethiopia, or said a better way, ancient Ethiopia gave birth to ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt. That is why the planting season started in September. Facts. I'm with you. Yeah, there's a couple of scholars that I follow. Um, One name is Anthony Browder, who wrote an excellent masterpiece of a work called The Nile Valley Contributions to Civilization. Very powerful gentleman. He does trips to Egypt every year. He takes groups to Egypt or Kemet, and also he's one of the only African Americans or black men slash African men that have gotten a license to dig in Egypt. So he has unearthed some beautiful um, things in Egypt. I'm with you on that, Don P. Amenhotep is the biblical Joseph. I never heard that one before, but that's fire. And Joseph was a very significant character in the Bible, where he was positioned. First of all, he was sold into so-called captivity by his own family, his own brothers, and left him for dead. But the story tells that he rose to power. He rose to power in Egypt, became the second man in charge. Am I correct? And then, in time of Israel's need, he was in position of power. So Joseph was very, very powerful um, character in the Bible. Joseph. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Judah who didn't want to harm Joseph because the other brothers wanted to do away with him. But Judah was like, nah, you can't do that. Let's make it seem like something happened to him and just cast him off, you know? So the story went, he came of age, and when the brothers was in Egypt handling business, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I got to read up on that. Amhotep was enslaved as well. Got to look that up. So the families was in Egypt handling business, and they came across Joseph, but they didn't recognize him. And it was, I think it was Benjamin that was having a conversation with Joseph, and Joseph's response to him was that, you don't recognize me, do you? And then he took another look at Joseph, man. Both of them just broke down and started weeping. Yeah, I remember that, P. He became the top second man in Egypt and became an advisor to Pharaoh. But we also know that Pharaoh was not was a person, but for the most part, it's a title, like a kingship of sorts. He became a vizier, okay, an advisor, like I said, cool. So yeah, and it's funny with a lot of Bible folks, like they don't want to give credence and respect to Africa, man. Northern Kenya, Southern Ethiopia, Joseph, I'm gonna tell you where enslaved around already. Okay, I didn't know that. Didn't know that. But most, well, no, not most. Every story in the Bible, family, was rooted in Africa. Anything that went down, Africa. When Israel went into Egypt in so-called captivity and all of that, they walked there. Why? Because the land is landlocked. And when Moses let them out, right, they walked out via the wilderness back to Israel because Israel in Africa is landlocked. So we really should be considering that region of the world, northeastern Africa. So now the Bible takes on African connotations, fam. Chano, per aha. Per aha is the hieroglyphic word per great aha house, the great house. Okay. It's interesting how Ge'ez, Arabic, Amharic, and Hebrew, and the Meta all have strong similarities. You know, it's interesting. And so, like when we say that we are African, even though we was born in the Americas, me particularly the Caribbean, and we claim African, For us, we have the luxury and the ability to claim anywhere in Africa. Why? Because it was foreign foreign forces that came in to chop Africa up. Berlin Conference. Man, Don P, I don't think I got 10 minutes. It already been 30. It's been 30 and I have another engagement. But we'll see. I'm going to just let it flow. So you had the Berlin Conference that chopped Africa up and divided it amongst European powers. And again, Ethiopia didn't have borders. So when we as a people want to come back and claim and pursue self-identity, because in ancient Kemet it always says to know thyself, right? So just because, like Malcolm said, that kittens was born in the oven, that don't make the kittens biscuits. So just because our people were born, no problem, Don P. Just because our people was born in the Caribbean, our people was born in the Americas, doesn't necessarily make us Americans. Yes, we were born there, we learned the ways of the West, but what flows through our blood, we have an ancestral connection to right here, to Mama Africa. And this is no slight to those who believe that ancient America or Tama'ari, is the cradle of civilization. No slight to our brothers and sisters who are of that mindset. So I would say, let's come together in the spirit of sharing and reasoning. This dialogue or this conversation is not a decisive one. It is not a conversation that's pitting us against each other. It's just information. We're just talking history. So on Tuesday, we're going to delve into the spaces of ancient America and what that paradigm is all about. That should be a fun one. That should be a fun one. Don P, Africa is the birth of human civilization. Yo, that's a whole nother conversation, Don P, because I feel that there are other species of beings on this planet that looks human, but that's a whole nother conversation. And I can give primary sources on that. I can give primary sources on that. And we can narrow it all the way down. And let's just say, to be human, you have empathy, right? You can't just do anything as a human being and not have empathy. So there are beings on this planet that do things that are literally cold-blooded. Literally cold-blooded. And I'll just leave it at that. Egypt comes from Hej Patah. It's interesting. Hej Patah, which means the rising Patah within. Yes, they are humanoids. Yeah, tell me about it, Don P. Even documented in ancient, absolutely. Absolutely. When you go in these ancient texts, everyone talks about beings outside of humans. I don't know why that's so confusing to people. This is real stuff. Let me see something. Just getting a little The sun is trying to set on us a little bit. Sorry about that, fam. Even documented in ancient documents where the term blue blood comes from. Yeah, facts. They care about bloodlines. Now you tapping on some things, just like ancient Egyptians, but for different reasons. The Anunnaki. You know, I was going there. I was going there down P. I was building up to the Anunnaki, but I didn't want to touch on there and then have to stay for another 30 minutes. China. But yeah, and it said, "Let us make man in our image and in our likeness." That's Anunnaki talk. In the Bible, who was God talking to? You understand? Interesting things. So, Don P, I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. I appreciate you coming through. Appreciate the family coming through, sharing some good energy and vibes. Nah, it's all good, brother. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, do us a favor. If you like the information, if you like our platform that we are building out, please give us a like, share, and subscribe. Also, all of our contact information is in the description. You can find us there. If you are coming to Kenya and want to link up, if you want to have a sit down, etc., feel free to hit us up. We are here to make your journey just a little easier. Even the Kim said there's a difference between human and the human being. Keep these up, brother. Don P will do. We just getting started, fam. We just getting started. So if you like this content, family, please give us a like, share, and subscribe to the platform as we build out. I love listening to the new knowledge the community will come. Absolutely. As it is written. Likewise, Don P, I appreciate you. And I'm going to tune out right here, brother. Just to tune back in. Peace out.